This is The Huddle by Oddshark. I'm Ethan Diamandas. He is Jon Anik. Let's talk Jiri Prochazka, Jamahal Hill. Pick'em odds. Very interesting. Jiri, I mean, what a character. There's no shortage of clips of him on social media. He looks at the world very differently, Jon. You've talked quite a bit about wanting to dive deeper into his psyche. You've got a chance to meet him and learn about him in these fighter meetings. But can you describe maybe what a fighter meeting is like with Jiri? What topics does he explore, and maybe how it differs from meeting a regular fighter?
Well, he's married to the game. He is particularly thoughtful, I think, as you know, and in multiple different languages, but certainly he has gotten more comfortable with us over the years. But we're going to be sitting down with him in Inglewood, California, on the heels of what was a very devastating, big picture career-wise loss to Alex Pereira, right? Because it puts him in no man's land a little bit. I mean, you want to talk about a guy who had a wealth of UFC experience when he came in, but he was sort of expedited in terms of getting a championship opportunity. And now, you know, he had contemplated middleweight because it's like, what do you do at light heavyweight? But I think what really comes out of the fighter meetings, a lot of it is technical. A lot of it is what he's been doing. A lot of it has had to do with him coming through that devastating shoulder injury. But just that he is truly married to the game. And I think if his counterpart, Jamahal Hill, was married to the game in totality, and I say that with all due respect, I think Jamahal Hill is probably the best athlete in this division. And if the hunger is aligned with the ability for Jamahal Hill, I think he can regain the throne.
For Jiri, 36 pro fights, 34 stoppages, for better or worse. Can you remember a champion like a caliber of fighter who competes for championships that is more kill or be killed than Jiri Prochazka? I mean, it seems like he's going out there to die on a sword either way.
Well, and sometimes he's talked about risk management and maybe making different in-fight decisions. But if you look at his last win against Alexander Rakic, stylistically, the way he is what allowed him to prevail in that fight, a fight in which Rakic had a lot of success. So he has fought so well through adversity. And I think that's something that you know is ingrained with him. Like Dominic Cruz talks about a regional fight, I think his second pro fight, a fight in which he found out that he could take an ass beating and get really beat up and still prevail. So I think part of it is what makes Jiri Prochazka thrive. And I think also it's what has resulted in the promotion, giving him a lot of big time opportunities, right? Because you know, it's pretty bulletproof, the matchmaking. You know, he's not going to be in a boring fight, but I would like to see him be a little bit more measured in these consequential situations because while it's not the heavyweight division, these guys hit hard and there's a lot of consequential strikes coming back your way, especially from an athlete like Jamahal Hill. So you never have to worry about the commitment from Jiri Prochazka pre-fight. But hopefully he's taken that IQ to the next level because he figures to need it against an athlete like Jamahal Hill.
Jon, how do you evaluate Jamahal Hill's last couple of years? Of course, a really tough injury, and we all would have liked to see him, you know, show his athleticism and stick around in the octagon a little bit longer than he did at UFC 300. I still think he did some good things before, obviously, Alex Pereira got the better of him. But, I mean, how do you evaluate him? You mentioned his athleticism and his talent. A lot of people, you know, would consider those question marks with just so much time off over the last couple of years.
Yeah, I mean, the reason I'm hard on Jamahal Hill, I think, is because I really believe in the guy. I think he's the best athlete in this division. You should see him on a basketball court. Hopefully he's got high tops and laced up tight, and maybe no more basketball courts, actually, for Jamahal Hill. But, you know, he's a man of the people. He's out and about. I have no doubt that he is training hard and figures to be in the best shape of his life for Jiri Prochazka. But, you know, sometimes I just feel like if he was in it 24/7, 365, maybe the way Alex Pereira seems to be, that Jamahal Hill would be the best light heavyweight in the world. And, you know, he could be very dismissive of this type of commentary. And again, I can't wait to sit down with Jamahal Hill, but I just believe in the athlete, man. I believe in the death touch, you know, in terms of the knockout power. I believe in the fighting instincts, the IQ. And I think you see his frustration boiling over, of course, with the Alex Pereira result, because as far as he's concerned, that fight was kind of over before it began. I have high expectations for Jamahal Hill, if you can't tell. I really do. And I think it's happening. This fight is happening at the perfect time for both men. And, you know, may the best man win. And, you know, I think if you're Jamahal Hill and you're able to win, you need to turn it right around, get back into a training camp and really commit yourself to being the best in the world, because I think he can be that. And I think Jiri can too. I think this weekend or next weekend is going to tell us a lot.